Good morning, YouTube. I've got a goodie for you today. And by goodie, I mean a Brigitte tier list. Was anybody asking for this? I don't know who asked for it, but we're gonna do it anyways. We all know Brig has been one of the most polarizing heroes of all time in Overwatch. I think she has received over 20 changes or nerfs since her release. Yeah, she's been through a lot. And honestly, after 20 changes, she's finally in a place where I would consider her to be pretty good. She's actually a good support that does her job. She was intended to be brought into this game to counter certain heroes, but when she was released, you could literally play her like a tank. 50 damage shield bash, bashing through shields, 350 armor that never decays, a 600 HP shield, 250 base health. God, she was insane back in the day. But anyways, Brig's in a more niche spot. Some people always ask, when do I pick Brig now? And she's actually more of a selective pick, not a perma pick, because she actually has matchups that she doesn't counter. And I'm going to tell you what they are after we go in order, though. These are in alphabetical order. So let's start off with Anna. Anna is, I would say she doesn't counter. If you think about it, what's Brig's effective range? She's swinging, she swings, which is actually longer than most people think. And then her flail or her whip shot is like, I don't know the exact distance, but sometimes it really feels like a Roadhog hook, which is like 20 meters. It's probably a little bit under 20, or maybe it is 20, but it's pretty long. But in any case, Anna should usually be playing out of your range 99% of the time. As a Brig, you're not really frontlining anymore. You're usually there to protect your other support. So when you go up against an Anna should be playing in the back, in which you don't really counter her. She's just chilling back there. Your job isn't to run into their Anna in the back line. Same with Ashe. You're not supposed to run into an Ashe. She can just keep distance on you. Brig's biggest weakness is range. Once you're outside of that whip shot 20-meter range, don't worry about it. You sit there and wait for the enemies to come into you. Anti-nade and counters inspire? Yeah, in that capacity, yes. Anyways, Baptiste, same idea. If you can keep the distance, he should be playing in the back. Most other supports, they're just not really like your problem to deal with. So I'm just going to put him as doesn't counter. Same with Bastion. This guy's going to be sitting in the back while your team engages on the Bastion. Your job is not to deal with this guy. Brig and Brig, if it's a neutral mirror matchup, you can just argue it's skill dependent because the better Brig wins. Keep that there. Doomfist, hard counter. Doomfist has to get into you to do stuff. This is where Brig would shine. He punches in, you counter bash, you both fall down. He seismic slams, bash him. Uppercut, bash him. Anything you do, bash him. If he doom ults, hold your shield up, block all the damage for your team. Easy clap. Big counter to Doomfist. I don't think anybody argues with that. D.Va, I would say, is like a soft counter. Not as hard as Doomfist because Doomfist has to come in to do stuff. So like you could literally pick Brig and you shut down a Doomfist. D.Va, she has choices. She doesn't have to fly in. She can play more defensive and peel with Matrix. She can't Matrix anything of you, but you can swing through her Matrix, whip shot, blah, 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 bash her out of it, bash her out of a flight, but you have to be able to get in range to bash her. If she's a good D.Va, she'll stay out of range. So, but since she has a choice, Doomfist doesn't, to be effective, you hard counter him, soft counter D.Va, but technically it still counts as a counter, right? Echo doesn't counter. You can deny her initiation. Usually D.Vas follow up with another person's dive. If D.Va dives with another teammate, you should probably be bashing the other person. If D.Va dives alone into a Brig, she's feeding. If D.Va will usually, so I'm answering someone's chat's question. If D.Va is diving, that means she is going in with a Doom, going in with a Monkey, going in with a Ball. You want to bash the other people, not necessarily the D.Va. But yeah, if she's hard diving your Zen, then yeah, you could go all in for her. But anyways, Genji, hard counter or soft counter? I would actually say this is pretty hard counter as well. Genji also, I mean, he can poke from a distance. Doom can't really poke with his, I mean, he shoots his little like fucking like Wolverine spikes at you, but like Genji can poke with from a distance, but once he dashes in, you just bash him. You bash him out of deflect. You stop his blade with rally. Yeah, you could say hard counter. I don't know. You just don't want to. You just don't. Yeah, you can just hard counter him. Sure. Same with Ball. I mean, this is pretty obvious. Ball also is one of those heroes that needs to get in close to do stuff and be effective. Slam. You can, if he goes for the pile drive and he swings, you can actually just boop him first, and he can just miss his slam. If he gets in close, you bash. You can block his pile drive. Rally armor screws over your primary fire as a wrecking ball because your primary fire is all pellet based. Armor kind of ruins that. If you have your passive going, swinging, and you have armor going, and you like shield dance, man. I think all the ball mains will agree Brig is just so annoying to play into. So tough. Bash him out of the momentum. No good. Hanzo doesn't counter Hanzo. Hanzo is, again, anything with range is Brig's biggest weakness. These are all like can play distance and spacing. You don't really counter these guys. Same with Junkrat. I would honestly be scared of getting in too close to Junkrat. If I bash the Junk, I better be sure I'm killing him. Because if I don't kill him, like he better be half health. Because my burst combo doesn't do much. Brig bash 5 damage. Swing. Whip shot, it's like under 100. Unless you get the swing bash, swing boop. But it's still like a little over 100. But if you get close to Junk, he has a higher chance of one tapping you. Yeah, you could probably guard the first one, but you can't really tank like too much. If he just like, the minute he comes out of the stun, he's going to primary fire into mine, and he's just going to create distance if you don't kill him. And then you're going to lose your shield off of that. You just get concussed. So I would say it doesn't counter Junk at all. Lucio's a bit skill dependent. I would bring this up. Compared to Ana and Baptiste, they play spacing. Lucio does do a bunch of little wall rides. He's going to be spinning around. You can boop him a little bit off walls to proc like Inspire. Like he plays closer in range than these two, which is why I ranked him up in skill dependent. You can also bash him out if he like does some weird wall ride in a low ground area. And he can disengage, but it's more skill dependent. Less so here. But yeah, I would put Lucio up here. McCree, yeah, I would probably just say it doesn't counter. Yeah, you can interrupt his beat, but if he beats in front of a Brig, that's a Lucio problem. You can still flash you. So unlike Reinhardt, where Reinhardt can actually flip his shield up and down, you have a better chance of blocking a flashbang as Rein because your shield's big. But with Brig, all you have to do is a McCree is just flash the side, and you just get out. And you would say, well, you have a shield, but McCree can actually break the Brig shield instantly. He can get around it too much. I would say it doesn't counter. It's a bit skill dependent. You can actually shield dance the freeze ticks. You can bash your way out of the blizzard, but if she walls you, you're probably dead because the team will go around. It's not like necessarily a doesn't counter because she will have to get close. Mei has to get close to be effective. So you can boop her back from her freezing somebody. Like you can peel by like packing someone who's getting frozen so they don't die to a headshot right away. You can boop her away when she's lining up for a headshot. And you can stay alive against the freeze ticks by holding your shield. So this is super just skill dependent. I think that's the best way to put it. Mercy, technically you don't really counter Mercy. If she knows how to play spacing and right, she'll fly. She should never be flying into your range ever. Like she plays so far backline and pocketing someone in the back, a sniper in the back. What are you gonna do when like Hanzo or Ashe are being pocketed by a Mercy across the map? You don't do anything as Brig. Not your job. Moira, also I would say doesn't counter. You can't kill her. She'll just fade away. Like you don't do enough DPS. She can just heal orb, stay alive long enough. If you catch her without a fade, she can stay alive long enough to get the next fade up and get away from you if she has to. She doesn't necessarily kill you, but you don't kill her. If she coalesces and she walks into you, yeah, you can counter it, but she's just bad if she walks into you with like coalescence such a long range. She should be playing max spacing with it anyways. I would say you just don't really counter Moira. Orisa, I would argue also doesn't counter amongst the tanks. The other tanks definitely have to get closer. Orisa just plays back. Although, if you get close to her, you can survive because you can just shield dance long enough. Like, if your team is engaging onto the double shield Orisa and you get close, then yeah, you can like hold corners and just swing through her shield a little bit. I feel like I can at least do something to Orisa after I close the gap. It's super after I close the gap. I would put it as skill dependent. Pharah doesn't counter, obvious reasons. She's flying. Come on, she's out of range. Reaper, I would say this is actually a soft counter. You don't want to fight him long term because his lifesteal and his shotguns, if he gets a clean shot onto your shield, it's 120, right? If he 2-taps your shield, he can break your Brig shield and then he can actually kill you if your shield is broken. You kind of you don't really play to 1v1. Like, you're a support here. You're not here to like kill and necessarily kill 1v1 another hero, as like old Brig could do that, which is why she was stupid. But new Brig, you do this to peel him off, because Reaper is all about getting in close to your team, and you have the tools to boop him away, force him out, make sure your Inspire's going. You have armor to kind of help alleviate some of the pellet damage when you pop rally. But yeah, I think it's a soft counter. Reinhardt, skill dependent. Wouldn't say he necessarily counters Reinhardt, but you can bash him out like of Earth Shatter. If he shatters in front of a Brig, that's like his terrible skill showing. But like, if you're both swinging, did you guys know if you guys were both swinging, old Brig could actually tank and kill Reinhardt by just holding swing or something like that? I remember I tested this a long time ago. Old Brig with passive going and full old rally armor ramping up, you could just swing onto a Rein like this nonstop and kill him. Back on Brig release. Not anymore. But anyways, you kind of just like push the Rein back. You don't want to stay in his swing range for too long, but you do have some tools to at least bash him out of like the charge, bash him out of an Earth Shatter, but it's super skill dependent. If the Rein's good on his skill, like he won't let you do that. So Roadhog is the different story, because he doesn't like Rein. If he has a skill, he can block your shield bash. Like if he times it, you try to bash the Rein to like, you know, set something up, but Rein can like block your bash, but Roadhog can't unless he boops you back with a thing. You counter a lot of Roadhog stuff. If he hooks somebody in the distance, you can boop him away so he doesn't get the follow-up shot, bash him out of the heal, bash him out of his ultimate. I would argue this is a hard counter as well, but Roadhog can play spacing, unlike Ball, who has to get into your team. So, but definitely a soft counter to Hog, arguably hard counter. Sigma, same as Reinhardt. Good Sigma, can keep the spacing. And shield dance. If he shield dances correctly, he can dodge your shield bash and maybe even block your boop, your whip shot. And if he can pop your Brig shield, your Brig shield's pretty flimsy. He just has to like almost shoot it twice with like those orbs, and it should break pretty fast. Soldier, I would say, doesn't counter. He's also a very rangy hero. Not your job to like run after a soldier sitting in a heal pad. You can try to boop him to proc your rally, or sorry, your passive and stuff. But other than that, like your focus isn't here. Sombra, well, skill dependent. Not necessarily a doesn't counter, because she does have to get close for a hack. She does have to get close for like an EMP and stuff. But for Sombra, I've seen Briggs bash her out of EMP, which is crazy. Here's another tip for you guys. If you are... Actually, no, never mind. It doesn't apply to Brig. Oh, this is a tip outside of Brig, actually. I just thought about it. If you're getting EMP'd and you can't avoid it, don't have your shield up. Because if you get EMP'd with your shield up, it breaks. In which you cannot shield bash until the hack is over. For Reinhardt, it's worse back when he had like a lot of HP on his shield. Because if you crack a 16 or 1400 shield, it used to be 2000. I just remember the 2000 HP shield. If it cracked, like don't have your shield up, you're getting EMP'd and you can't avoid it. Because if it cracks, by the time the EMP wears off, your shield will only recover like I don't know, like 600 or something like that. Or 700, 800. Don't mind the numbers. But if you drop your shield and then you get EMP'd, by the time the EMP is over, your shield's still fully healthy. So I take the tip back from Brig. I think her shield will regenerate to full if she catches you with an EMP with your shield up. But yeah, and she can shield the hack. That's right. If you ever hear that ding 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 fingers, you just spin around with your shield up and you can block the hack. So very skill dependent if you can react to it. Symmetra. She does have to get close. This is also a bit of a skill-dependent matchup, I would say. If there are turrets underneath, you can kind of like walk in, swing, and break them. If there's like a turret TP bomb, you just turn around, spin, swing at them. Skill-dependent. If she gets close enough to like charge her beam, just create some distance, boop her back. She can melt your shield, yeah, so that's why you have to be quick with the skill. Bash her, get her away, get away. But yeah, I'll keep it as skill-dependent. I don't think anybody argues with that. This is a Torbjorn. I would say this doesn't really counter Torb. I think his turret, if his turret's in the back line, like what can you do as a Brig against it? It is literally not your job to break the Torb turret in the back. He has a lot of armor. If you try to engage onto him, he just pops overload and then he's just gonna start chucking the Cheetos at you. Like the turret itself counters Torb, and then Torb just kind of just chucks Cheetos at you. And then if your shield breaks, then yeah, you're screwed. He's not someone you gun for, that's for sure. And his ultimate also melts armor. That's right. That's a point I forgot. Good point. Torbjorn's ultimate has a strong bonus effect against armor, and it melts double, or that's not the correct term. Maybe not double. I don't know the exact numbers, but it does more against armor, so doesn't counter. Tracer, I would actually put this as skill dependent at the higher elos. Maybe the lower elos would say like, yeah, you pick Brig to counter Tracer. You don't necessarily counter her, but you can stay alive against Tracer because it's very skill dependent, because a good Tracer avoids the bashes, avoids getting in swing range, and can actually blink and react to the flails at the highest elo. Skill dependent in low and higher elos, maybe a soft counter in lower ranks. But again, you don't necessarily kill a Tracer. You just kind of stay alive. You pack the person that Tracer's going for. In that argument, the Tracer, if she's a good Tracer, she'll never focus the Brig for the most part, unless she's like isolated and caught out. Just so you guys know, if somebody looks at this tier list and goes like, why'd you put Tracer here? Listen to my words here one more time. High elo, skill dependent, low elos, mid-range. So you can pick her to soft counter, stay alive, peel against her. In any case, Widowmaker doesn't counter. Again, sniper argument. What do you do against this sniper across the map on Ilios Ruins when you're Brig in the back? You just stay out of LOS. You hold your shield to make sure she doesn't kill you, and you just do other things. Winston, soft counter. If Winston is also one of those tanks that has to engage similar to Ball. There is a bubble though, so he can bubble dance and whittle you down a little bit. And his primal could actually, if he's good at juggling, he can kill you through it. But you can definitely pick Winston to stay alive, or pick Brig into Winston to stay alive and annoy him to the point where he doesn't want to play it anymore. But yeah, Ball has nothing to shield him against, like, or guard him against being bash, booped, whatever. But Winston can bubble dance, so it's a softer counter. And you can whip shot his jumps, that's right. And we have Zarya. Honestly, I would say it doesn't really count. Don't really like counter Zarya at all. Like, bubbles kind of ruin Brig's combos. Like, high energy Zarya can kill a Brig, that's for sure. That's right. If you try to get close to a Zarya at high energy, you just die. She can be like, Brig can be annoying though. You're just a pest. But yeah, Zarya can space you out, shoot her secondary fires behind your shield if she's skilled, and like whittle you down to the point where you can't get in. Yeah, exactly. She can right click or secondary fire beside the shield. So I would put this as doesn't counter, or I guess skill dependent. But she does have to rally when she grabs. Nah, if she grabs, if your rally is going, it could kind of, yeah, it could kind of like deter the grab, but it won't necessarily counter it. Anyways, Zen, if you can get close to a Zen, you should be able to kill him. That's if you get close. Zen should be spacing far enough, so it wouldn't really be a problem. But if he's super skilled, he could discord you while you're like in your middle of your swing bash whatever combo. Then he can like double headshot you with discord on you or something. Then yeah, you're dead. So if he's super skilled, sure. But for the most part, he's not really your focus in the backline. Anyways, that is the Brig tier list on who Brig counters. Say hi one more time to YouTube. Once again, when do you want to pick Brig? You babysit your other support and you defend against these slew of heroes. And some of these are meta, right? And honestly, these ones are okay too. It's not bad to necessarily pick into it. I would rank this one higher, I guess, for the people earlier. So we'll put this up here. But once again, if you see a Doomfist, if you see any of these 3 heroes, for sure, you can just switch to Brig no matter what, and you'll probably find value immediately because you just mark them, keep them away instantly. These ones as a secondary, and these are very common tanks. 4 of the, 8 tanks are technically counterable by Brig in that regard. And she's super has good self-sustain, so always a safe choice against these. These ones are okay. And then if they're running any mix of compositions with these heroes, just be careful. Not your job. Anyways, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more tier lists and other content. Come to the stream at twitch.tv/KarQ. Thanks for watching.